Good morning. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. Very shortly going live on Instagram. Live on Instagram. And we've been chatting on Zoom for the past 15 minutes and great questions. Welcome to our Wednesday morning movement. I want to focus today on, actually ties in with what we've just been chatting on Zoom about, is like movement with ease. And I know I really emphasize every week, every session, I keep banging on about not overdoing it, not straining, not forcing. So we're just going to do some movement with ease, which ties in with the Qigong flow, etc. I haven't got the full angle camera, so you're only going to see the top of me today. But hopefully that is okay. If you join before, you'll know some of the movements that we do. So find yourself comfortable space. Let me just put the clock on so I can see the clock, and go here so I can see here. Right, camera should just need to angle that down. Oh, Gillian's got a t-shirt on as well. That's good. Space to the side of you, space forwards and backwards. Feet shoulder width apart. And let's aim for parallel feet. A little bit of give in the knees, a little bit of give in the ankles, a little bit of give in the hips. And just start off with knocking. Gentle breathing in and out through the nose. And remember that direct link between the breath and the nervous system. So if this movement is pretty comfortable and easy for you, that means the breath can stay light and soft, effortless in and out through the nose. Settle into the rhythm. Relaxing into the shoulders. And the back of the shoulders, the shoulder between the shoulder blades. Feel the connection to the ground through the feet. Connection with the bubbling spring, the ball of the foot. So strong through the lower body. And then lifting and lengthening through the crown of the head. Feeling light and lifted with the upper body. Connecting to the sky through the crown. Keeps you tall. Today what I'd like to do is do fewer movements and just keep repeating them a little bit longer so you can really settle into the rhythm. So connecting through the ground, to the ground, through the feet. Strong and stable through the lower body. And then lifted and lengthened through the crown. Light and lifted, connecting to the sky, the upper body. And if it feels comfortable, and keeping in mind the movement with ease and the breath, we can just have a little glance behind, creating that little bit more rotation. The idea is really to keep long through the spine. Watch that you're not leaning back or that you're craning your neck. One side might be a lot easier than the other. And then just come back to forwards and then slow it down into water waves. Breathing easy, calmly, relaxing into the face. Softening the elbows. Keeping the shoulders balanced over the pelvis. Just watch that we're not leaning back as we're doing this one. As we're doing any of this rotation. Remember, the spine is the central axis, the central rotational axis. Can we soften a little bit more into the fingers? Can we soften a little bit more into the wrists? Soften a little bit more into the elbows. We go a little bit slower. Do you find it easier to rotate to one side than the other? If so, what is maybe creating that restriction? Does it help if you lengthen the spine a little bit as you rotate to the side that might feel a little bit sticky? Or maybe you're absolutely perfect and it feels exactly the same both ways. And take a rest. What I find really checking in with is a couple of things, and I've noticed this with quite a few people, is this the right side. This is my right side, so if I'm mirroring, I'm not sure if I'm mirroring or not, but this is my right side, can tend to be a little bit more compressed. And you often see this with runners. If you're following a runner, you can see this right side coming down a little bit. And I know personally this is what happens with me. So I have to be very aware of keeping long and actually breathing in to the lower ribs here on the right side. Because the reason why I feel that is because I'm stronger on that right leg. So I'm more, when I'm running and even when I'm walking, I'm wanting to support a little bit more, but actually stronger on that side means it's going to do, in a way, do more work. So when I'm doing the rotation, it's a lot easier to go that way than it is to go that way. So what I really focus on is lengthening up and going that way. So just have a little tune in with that. It's all great to do this stuff nice and quick and warming up, which is fantastic. But again, when you have time, just keep repeating it and see how little things, little nuanced changes you can make, subtle changes you can make in that movement can maybe help a little bit. Another way to test that out is, say you've got an object here, run around that object and you'll find that going one way is like, oh yeah, I can easily go that way around the object. And then you change directions, you go, oh, this feels a bit weird running that way around the object. So that's quite a nice little thing to play around with as well. Have a little shake out, shake the shoulders, and we'll do, my clock has disappeared. Let's do some tigers. So connection there, so strong through the fingers. When I say strong, don't want to strain, so just nice and strong, and lowering down, and then coming back up. Keeping breathing with this one. Get your feet shoulder width apart, slight turn out, and it's just as if you're sitting down. And I know we've done them really slowly and challenging over the last few weeks. Let's just think about today, ease of movement. So real nice, easy flow of movement. And we're going to be doing this again, not counting reps, but we're doing quite a few of these. So again, you don't want to overdo it to start off with. Keep that chest lifted. Another way you can think about it is, imagine you've got a wall in front of you, and actually if you're testing this, if you're doing this, have a wall in front of you. So I can't go bump and bang my head into the wall. I have to go down the wall. And if I am going banging my head into the wall, then I only go to the part where I'm not, the depth where I'm not banging my head into a wall. And again, with a breath, easy in and out through the nose. Now, if you've got space, you can take a step forwards. We're still going, this is a great time for me to demonstrate this one when you can't see my lower body. You still go, if I move back, can you see a little bit? You're still going, I've got loads of space here actually. Stepping forwards, coming down. And then stepping forwards, So if you've got space, you're just walking forwards. If you haven't got space, have a little play with this when you've got a bit of space in front of you. So you're just stepping. And notice, I want you to keep that hip shoulder width apart, so it's not like walking forwards as such. You've got that shoulder width apart and you're still slightly turned out. So you'll see how that weight shifts one side to the other. And here, again, I notice that I'm much more comfortable to shift my weight and put my weight on the right side than I am on the left. So again, because we're doing this mindfully, calmly, you can play around with really taking your time. And then if you've got space to go backwards. So even though you're going backwards, you've now got the weight on the back leg. Now, if you haven't got the space, when you're doing forward, you're just stepping back, stepping back. When you're going back, you're stepping back. Now, I could almost like lift that leg. I'm not going to lift that leg, but you've got the weight on the back leg as you go down. And then you step forwards and you step back, back leg. Remind me next week, where am I next week? Don't know where I am next week. I don't know whether I won't have the full camera. Remind me when we've got the full camera, you can see the full body to demonstrate this again. So you can see that full body movement. And then let's just do a few in that normal stance, tiger stance, down the center. Imagine you've got that wall in front of you. We're just lowering our center of gravity. That's all we're doing. Keep the chest lifted and open. Let's do 2 more. And then shake out. So remember again, if you're getting out of breath, that suggests we just need to slow down a little bit, just take a little rest. There is nothing wrong in that. Take a rest, let the breath settle, use the breath to calm the nervous system, and then back into the movement. If we need to do something, if you need to do that all day long, you're not going to do it and push it really, really hard at the beginning, because you're just going to be literally out of breath. And that's it, you're going to be finished. Let's do a little bit of dog wags the tail, so shifting side to side, really gentle. Remember, those hips are parallel to the ground and you're pushing into the ground. A nice little creak and crunch through my knee then, in a good way. Same idea, strong lower body, and then lift the upper body. Nice long lifted light upper body. And then I want you to slow this one down too. So make that movement a little bit smaller. Still keep that spine wave. When we go a little bit slower, you can go, right, I'll just hold the spine. I want that ripple still through the spine. And notice the difference if I'm moving my head. There you can see me moving my head. If I'm moving my shoulders, you can see me moving my shoulders. If I'm moving the pelvis, everything's moving from the center. So everything moving upwards is a consequence of moving from here. So I'm not putting any effort into moving my shoulders. I'm not putting any effort into moving my head. I'm just allowing that to happen. Imagine you've got a rope, so you're holding a big rope and you're doing the rope moves and you get that nice ripple through the rope. The rope isn't working in the middle, the energy is coming from you swinging that rope. It's exactly the same thing with this. We want the drive to be coming from the center. It's such a simple focus or a simple idea. Sometimes it's quite challenging just to really feel that, particularly if you're practicing stuff which is really subtle like this. And then slowing it down. And just having a little shake if you need a shake. And a movement, a Qigong, particular Qigong flow, which is beautiful to do if you're just thinking of ease of movement, want to focus on rhythm, want to focus on breath guiding the movement, but is like a whole body movement as well. And if you do it outside and it's a beautiful day, or even if it's pouring rain and you're comfortable doing that, it's absolutely great, is the idea open the flow. So again, you're taking your feet shoulder width apart. Let's aim for parallel if that feels comfortable. If it's putting too much pressure on the hips and the knees, that's absolutely fine. You can have a slight turn out. But if we aim for parallel, nice and supported and stable through the center. Again, when we're not engaging the core, we're not over tightening these abdominal muscles, but those abdominal muscles are just going to respond to you standing. So you don't even have to think about engaging the core here. That's a bit like walking around all day going, right, I'm just going to keep my bicep tight just in case I need to lift something heavy. So sense the abdominals and the core, in inverted commas, responding to your stance, responding to that tall stance. And we're just going to start with that subtle movement of shifting the weight forwards and backwards. I'm going to turn around to the side so you can see me from the side. It's just rocking, moving the center forward so you feel the weight on the ball of the foot, and then just very gently moving the weight backwards so you feel the more weight on the heel of the foot. So when I'm moving backwards, I'm not leaning backwards. When I'm moving forwards, I'm not leaning forwards. I'm keeping tall, but I've just got that very subtle shift in weight forwards and backwards. Gentle rocking. Now, actually, if you were about to fall backwards, the first thing you would do is reach forwards, because you'd go, oh, I just need to bring my center of gravity forwards. So if you were going to go, all right, I'm going to fall backwards, you wouldn't go, oh, I'll lean backwards to fall. Your natural response would be, oh, hang on a minute, I'm going to fall backwards. And if you were coming forwards and you were going to fall forwards, the natural response would be, I just need to shift my center of gravity back a little bit. So just have that in mind as you do open the flow. But again, it's a micro movement. So I'm not trying to move back and move forwards and move back and move forwards. It's a flow. Just happens naturally. And actually you very likely not see that subtle shift in movement forwards and backwards. But this is how you will realize that it's not just an arm movement. I'm not just doing zombie walks, lifting the arms up and down. It's a whole body movement. The other thing I'd like you to play around with is just feel the weight of the elbows and the shoulders as you lift the arms up. So the spine keeps long. Just a couple more. And then take a rest. And bringing your feet together and just interlocking thumbs and resting on the lower dantian, relaxing the arms or letting the elbows just sit into the side of the body. Again, connecting to the ground through the feet, lifting and lengthening to the sky through the crown, just closing your eyes. Gently rocking and swaying, allowing that to happen. Bamboo in the wind. And then taking a slightly fuller breath in through the nose. Letting that breath go, opening your eyes. A little brush down. And remembering that movement with ease only comes about by combining the strength, so working on strength and working on flexibility as well. So the fact that you can stand and do that flow movement is that combination of strength and flexibility, and that leads to fluidity and ease of movement in theory. Let's hope so. Brilliant. Appreciate your time. Thank you for joining in. And I will see you next Monday where we'll do a little bit more breath focused practice. Have a lovely day. Go and do a bit of open the flow outdoors if the weather's good. Take care. See you later. Bye. Bye bye.